Now for the East, with that 1 seed Milwaukee Bucks and the 8th seed Miami Heat, who just barely snuck in after having to go to the ultimate elimination game in the play-in. I really wish I could say that the Miami Heat have a shot in this series. The last time these guys played was back in 2021, where the Bucks absolutely humiliated them. Now, if this was a different squad, I would say the Bucks could potentially sweep. But truthfully, just with how the Heat have had Milwaukee's number in recent history with, of course, the bubble playoffs, the Miami Heat know how to get under the Bucks' skin just a little bit. And so, originally, if it was going to be the Bucks versus the Bulls, I think the Bulls would have gotten swept. But with just the squad of Jimmy and Bam and how the Heat just don't go away, even though their back's against the wall and they're not favored at all, they managed to squeak out a few wins. I think the wins will be in Miami. The squad didn't perform like how they did last season where they were the number 1 seed going into that playoffs. It's going to be a tough series. It's going to be a series where you sit back and you reflect and go, okay, this is what we need to improve on in the offseason. Try to trade, go get a different guy, cut some guys that are, holding our bench down a little bit or something like that. I don't personally think it's time to blow up the Miami Heat. We're totally fine with how strong the resume is of the Milwaukee Bucks and how they are the number 1 seed overall. It's going to be a tough series, and so I think Milwaukee will single-handedly take games 1 and 2 in Milwaukee, but then in game 3 and 4, this is where Miami fights a little bit to try to keep their playoff hopes alive. I think Jimmy will show up in game 3 and 4. And so then the series will be tied 2-2, and everybody will go, hey, wait a minute, hold on, we got a series here. But ultimately, the MVP frontrunner for the Bucks in Giannis, I think Giannis is going to take over in Game 5 back in Milwaukee. And then when the series is 3-2, headed back to Miami, I think this is ultimately where the Bucks, just because of how well and they've been able to perform on the road, but overall in the regular season, this is where I think the Bucks ultimately eliminate the Miami Heat. Hopefully, players can stay healthy and we have a pretty decent series instead of being like, well, maybe Miami would have had more shot if this player didn't get hurt or this player didn't get hurt, because they're going to make some pretty light work of Miami. But Miami won't go down without a fight.